How's your week been, Royce?
Oh, it's been good, man. Nice and chill. Out of town for a few days, and then yeah, no, that was super nice. Just nice to get away for just a little bit. Break routine, kind of refresh a little bit, but it's been good. How about you guys?
Same.
It's kind of not the same way I do it as well.
Yeah.
Be present. Staying present.
Yeah, I've just been staying a student of the game, trying to some days
Good
I'm just
man.
taking a couple off, but finally getting into like a strong routine again for being a student of the game, because we all have our time like, shit, dude, I need to cool my brain down, because
Yeah.
nothing's going through.
Yeah. Everything happens in cycles. Everything happens in phases. Good times and bad, everything else, but it's good. Routine is like the one thing you can control. Yeah, Bitcoin's looking good right now. Bitcoin's looking sick.
Yeah,
always take that.
Yeah, one of these books I've been reading is talking about how Beethoven, or no, yeah, well, Beethoven and Shakespeare, but Shakespeare, in this 5-year span of what he created, Shakespeare said that two of these shows were going to be his best, but then they actually turned out to be his worst. But right after each of his worst in this 5-year time span, he had his best right after. He had Romeo and Juliet right after his first worst one. Freaking like what was it called? Macbeth after the second or something, And so it also talked about how Beethoven said that he literally guessed that some of his songs were going to be the biggest hits, and the ones that he actually didn't like the most ended up turning out to be the ones that were the most prosperous and the ones that are still big today. And sometimes it's just our instincts that aren't initially great, but it's building and learning and being able to see past it.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a big reason that failing and having kind of those shittier times is important, because it kind of it changes your perspective. And sometimes that's necessary. If you become caught in your ways, you need kind of that wake up call, that perspective shift, which is really important. And I'm sure most successful individuals, especially, Beethoven, at that like crazy high peak performer level, would attest to that kind of same principle of sometimes you think something's gonna be the best and it might turn out to be shit, or not terrible, but it doesn't live up to your expectations. So kind of managing expectations is a very important thing.
That's the entire point. I said that whole thing, and you nailed it right on the coffin, because it also talks about literally Einstein. It talks about how Einstein literally he put in 134 pieces of work before one even made a dent into the industry, before he could have even gotten to his relativity thing.
Yes, sir.
Like science things were like exhausting that must have been to do research after research after research to eventually change the world forever, and then it was just like, whoa, like after that it's just like you're set, but
yeah, man, things take time, and sometimes things feel just stagnant. Like, I'm sure in that example, Einstein was working on those 124 prior to the 125th one working out. Like, it's very easy to give up when times are bad. So that's why perseverance is so important. All right, let's get into some of these questions. Still a believer in AFA calls with merger with Tilray. I think, well, that was announced a long time ago. So yes. Is Riot a safer play right now compared to Mara? I would say so. I think Riot looks better than Mara on the charts right now. Could you talk about what the appointment of the IQST CEO to the Revolt Token Advisory Board means for the future of ALYI? I don't think it means that much, to be completely honest. But it's because ALYI and IQST are already kind of like in somewhat of a collaboration with each other. So I think it's good that streak is continuing. I definitely don't think it's bad. I would say it's more good than bad, but I don't think it's like a huge difference. Do you invest in dividends? No. Afri and Tilray are emerging. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but not seriously, just because I don't really like. Maybe in the future, as if I at the point which like maybe I have kids, I have to like slow down or something, and I might. If when my risk, my risk appetite is still very, very high, so I'm not even considering dividends. I don't even trade calls on like blue chips, so definitely not thinking about dividends. Afrin Tilray merging Monday, yeah, positive event for the merged company. Yeah, I would say so. I mean mergers just make two. I mean, Afrin and Tilray are already pretty well established companies, so I'll just make two strong companies at the one even stronger company. Do you think ALY will shoot up to $1 from 20 cents or a rocky climb? It will definitely be a rocky climb. Nothing goes I don't think it's gonna go parabolic. Riot, not Mara. Yeah, it's based on technicals and market cap. So I think Riot is a better play right now than Mara. Thoughts on Zekin? I mean, Zekin still looks pretty good to me. It's definitely slower volume, is like nothing compared to the previous rallies, but I mean, Zekin looks pretty positive, and actually, it's like I know the company that initially contracted me to do a sponsored video for Zekin was just reached out again regarding another promotion of Zekin, which they're trying to set up, and usually they're contacting a bunch of other YouTubers as well to do so. So there's probably going to be that much more exposure on ZK over the coming weeks, which will likely lead to, I mean, in the past, like when you see that crazy spike in volume, I think that was their first kind of promotional round. So it shows the power of kind of those promotional videos across the platform of YouTube or just across this space. So, I mean, that's a good little foreshadowing event for the fact that we could see another move up in Zekin. But I mean, it's looking slow but good. That'll do it.
Oh, he can't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta hop in. There we go.
Yeah.
What were you? Yeah, that inverse head and shoulders is clean. Yeah, textbook.
Royce, do you take a look at the like how important is the share float of a stock to you?
The share float?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not important at all. It's all about market cap.
Okay.
Take home art? Is it it's like an equity? It's a stock? TKAT, I have not. What is that? Is it what's the general sector? Is it like an NFT company, or is it like a okay?
They're an electronic online platform for artists, art dealers, and art investors to trade, offer, and trade in valuable artwork preliminary in the People's Republic of China. This electronic online platform is located at www.takunga.com. Well, they offer trading services for artists. I mean, I guess the same thing. We can trade. And
It's probably just like an exchange platform, like an NFT exchange platform. Which is smart. That's good. I think 60K is definitely the next stop. Just to complete this, I mean, like this textbook head and shoulders, 60K would be the first stop, and 60K is also that psychological even. So I think 60K is coming, but I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if we see like a full completion of this head and shoulders from, which would technically be Bitcoin's all-time high. That would ultimately take us back up to 65. And if we get back up to 65, unless we double. So I think 65 is actually in the cards over the next week or so. How long did this span? So I want to say if we do see 65K, we're gonna continue to rip up, but we would also perfectly resolve this inverse head and shoulders, this kind of weird concave head and shoulders, at 65K. So if it all depends on sentiment. So you'd think that we're gonna keep going up from there, and I would hope we do, but we're gonna have to see if we see a double top as well. Because if we blast through 65K, obviously that's gonna be super bullish. But I'm just gonna be worried about seeing any significant amount of resistance at 65K. So let's keep an eye on that. But I'm an optimist.
Do you see a cup and handle at all on it? I'm just now seeing this on the Bitcoin 2-hour chart.
On the 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like a double bottom into like it's like a cup almost. It looks like it's a double bottom, but it looks like it goes straight into a handle. But so it could be a cup, but it's really it's really definitely. Yeah,
It's kind of weird. Like this is almost like a textbook head and like inverse head and shoulders right here. If this was the other way, this would look. I mean, obviously inverse head and shoulders, but this is
yeah, I see
that's almost a. I see the handle, but I definitely see more of a head and shoulders. We might come down a little bit more and resolve this. I mean, even the time on these two, like this side of the shoulder, I guess the shoulder pads, whatever you want to call them, are almost the exact same length.
Yeah,
which I like to see.
That's one thing that's huge, is seeing that it's the exact same length.
It's almost perfect. It's almost perfectly symmetrical.
And once you said inverse head and shoulders, I was like, duh.
yeah. No, it looks very, very obvious. When you see it, you definitely see it. Oh yeah, it kind of looks like it. Yeah. Yep, I guess we're gonna see another breakout, and then the same thing that kind of, whenever you see a parabolic move up like this, I mean, I guess we kind of just saw it in that the base of the head on the 25th, big move up, sideways for a little bit, but that's what I don't think we're gonna hit the 65. I actually hope it takes so what would make sense is just going parabolic to 60K from here, like another big move up over the next like 12 hours, like 12 to 24 hours. And then slowly climbing our way over the course of next week up to 65K. And then hopefully we break through 65. But yeah, it'd be a little worrisome if we didn't. No, I'm definitely not educated enough on the intricacies of battery technology to speak on that. But I'd assume if you know that, you probably are. So it does sound interesting, but I have no idea.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to say about that is I did months of research on BLNK and IDEX back in November to not even do any research on like the stock itself, but entirely entirely the batteries, entirely everything, and just comparing it to certain things. And just don't forget to look at just build your confidence on the stock, because I didn't, and it was just one of those where you look at and you're like, wow, that like really did some numbers, and all I cared about was the battery and like what it was. I just really liked the companies because EVs were going crazy, but EV also was in a bullish channel at the time. So, but just really know like the valuation of the fundamentals, you know.
So C-Work is looking super good on the charts right. I mean, the TSX to the CSE the CSE is bigger, is larger than the TSX. So I think it's good. I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's a good step, but I don't think it's like. I mean, maybe people perceive it. I guess it's all about what people perceive it to be, but it fundamentally it doesn't really seem like a big deal. But again, because the CSE is larger than the TSX, the more exposure, the better, ultimately. So I think it's good for Seawork. Seawork did pretty well today, and Seawork just looks amazing on the charts. They are, however, Tombo just sent me a. I should check this out. Tombo sent me an article earlier talking about how Seawork is planning on increasing their shares from 70 million to 400 million, which is depending on what. Now, it's very dependent on intention with this one. And I haven't, he just sent it to me, so I haven't had time to read through this completely. It's like a. Actually, Tombo, can you just throw this in general or something? So if anyone wants to look at this, because this is a straight up just like SEC financial statement. But yeah, I mean, in that case, it's very dependent on what they're planning on, like how they're planning on rolling that out. Because at the same time, it's really not. I mean, this is almost to be expected from a lot. Like they're just creating liquidity. The market's hot. Everything's hot. And a lot of these companies are going to want to create liquidity while they can, while the markets are hot. So, I mean, I definitely don't blame them for it. But yeah, just throwing that out there. I haven't had time to look at it enough to speak indefinitely about anything there. Oh, yeah. No, I'm glad about that. I'm stoked on those puts. Those puts are definitely coming through right now. Yeah, Piton's still. I mean, Piton. Oh, really? Yeah, no, it's a good call. I mean, yeah, just call it there. Yeah, Piton looks. Piton still looks rough. So I'll probably, I think, 85 is currently my price target for Piton. I think at that point I'll probably sell, but Piton is just looking like I mean, every indication I have leads to more downside. So let's hope we see that. It's feeling good right now.
We're
chilling.
What are you looking at this weekend for crypto? Because I remember last weekend which did really well. It was things like Link, those did really well this whole week.
I mean, Link still. So it's interesting to see Ether slowing. I mean, Ether can't even say Ether slowing down a bit because Ether has just been pretty much the king of the crypto market.
Just compared to
still
Bitcoin,
still dancing around all-time highs, yeah. But what's Ether's market cap at right now?
It's just
320 billion. That's crazy.
When you compare it, it's just like these just explode. As like the pendulum I said, there will be times where ETH is going to explode, and then there's going to be times where Bitcoin's going to explode. So I think ETH had the higher percentage last week, which it did go up more last week. And this week, it switched over back to the Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of this pendulum that kind of just bounces off of each other, like Riot and Mara, as we talk about, but a little quicker.
That's all. Yeah, BTC alt dominance, but yeah, Bitcoin. That's why it's interesting to see if Bitcoin may, because it's been getting so obliterated in terms of that dominance chart. I mean, it makes sense to finally see because it's been for like a month or so. It's just been like falling off a cliff for the most part. It'd be interesting to see if Bitcoin finally does start to, which would be good, to finally see some Bitcoin dominance, to see Bitcoin regain some dominance. But I mean, alts are crushing it right now too. So
yeah,
again, it's from the fundamental perspective. I think traders do realize that alts just like innately, because again, the market caps are smaller, do have more potential upside, which is what everyone wants. And that will likely continue to be the case. So I do think alts are going to continue to do well. Chainlink still looks the best from a technical perspective, I think.
Yeah, I literally cannot believe that like Binance just doesn't care who's doing well. Like Binance is just like Tesla. Like Binance just keeps going.
Binance I don't understand how Binance is doing so incredibly well.
Like Tesla. Like it's just like
it just keeps going up.
It just happens. It just happens. And Cake, which is ran by Binance, is doing the same thing. Like I've been looking at this since it was $11, and now it's $41. And I'm like, it's just like the staking like ADA version for Binance. It's something you stake, you get syrup, and then from syrup.
BNB seems kind of sus.
Huh?
Like BNB also seems like I don't see anyone talking about BNB. That's why. I mean, there's definitely people talking about it, but I don't see it anywhere. Like I don't see any YouTube thumbnails just pumped. I don't see anyone like super stoked on Binance.
One of the things,
I mean, they're obviously out there, but I personally don't see them.
One of the things about the Intelligent Investor book, which was like the first investing book I got into, one of the biggest quotes I took out of it was, if Wall Street is on it, then the money, I don't remember exactly what it was, but if Wall Street is on it, it was something around the lines where if Wall Street is on it, then it's not going to be making as much money as it was before it was. And it was kind of like this consensus of people, everyone, like once Wall Street and the news touches it, once people
you're too late. Yeah, at that point, you're too late.
It's too late. Yeah, exactly. And so it's finding the numbers. And so that's why sometimes with, I'll just trade Tesla, but instead of looking at everything, I will literally watch level 2. I will watch all the ETFs for arbitrage. You know what I'm saying? Just to see the evaluation of the whole market moving. And then I'll just see every single number for the option and also all the orders for the Tesla go in. And I'll be able to just see the movement go up. And so things like this is why I'm interested in cryptos, because that's when the time to make money is when no one's talking about it yet. Like everyone stopped talking about Doge, and then Doge fucking exploded again on Doge Day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Doge is still like, God, so insane. The Doge at a $42 billion market cap. That's crazy. Oh yeah. We're talking about that a little bit, huh? I mean, Doge looks like. I mean, what is Doge? Doge also looks like. I mean, this chart right here is very reminiscent of what a bubble looks like when it pops. Yeah, like, unless Doge rips back up to all-time highs, but this looks like, just looking at it like on the 1 year chart, this looks almost exactly like what a bubble looks like when it's popping. It's like just like the dead cat bounce. Like you rip up, you come down, you pop back up a little bit, and then you just kind of run back down again. But I mean, again, the money of the people. I know there's still the load of people that believe in Doge. So maybe it does keep ripping up. Maybe this is just kind of the correction within the bubble. But Doge is a good testament to just kind of the overall sentiment of the average retail investor. I think a lot of people who like Doge feel like they just got into the investment space. They're kind of pissed off because they probably missed a lot of the money, the wealth accumulation that happened over the past year, and they finally believe this is their opportunity. So I think from a psychological perspective, that's the reason a lot of people like Doge. But I also think there's a lot of people who are going to get absolutely smoked in Doge. Like Doge is not going to stay up for any meaningful amount of time. Even if it does see another rally up, there's no way it maintains, I would say, even like a double digit cent status. You know, everyone's gonna, so the smart money's gonna sell at 80 cents. Like, yeah, you gotta, and then the smartest money is gonna know the smart money is gonna sell at 80 cents, so they sell at 60 cents. And then that Cadillac, I mean, yeah, I don't think Doge gets above 75 cents personally. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah, the only thing that gets me is I still don't know why Mark Cuban's still talking about it, saying this is the world's currency.
Because he holds a fat bag.
Yeah, but one thing you can expect is if there is huge buy orders that go straight up, you can expect huge sell orders that will do the same thing, because someone has to make money, someone will get out. This is the prisoner's effect. Someone's taking someone's money. There's only a limited amount within the float. And so with that limited amount of money, someone's taking their cash and getting out and going to go put it in another thing, the stock market, NFT, different crypto. And so you will see a gap down just as big as that gap up. It's supply and demand. It's just how it is.
All right, I'm gonna go through some of these questions quick. Thoughts on space? So Virgin Galactic. I haven't touched space in a while, but I mean that it's still super exciting. If the test flight does well, then obviously Virgin will do well. I actually I kind of want to take a look at space. I haven't looked at this chart in so long.
Me either. It looks like it's pretty close to a support almost.
I haven't played it since like its IPO, honestly. I
played it late 2020.
Oh my god. Oh, it's gotten obliterated. I mean, but it's still at like a $5.6 billion valuation with pretty much, again, just like I know they do have, I mean, they've had some orders for a while, but damn. Yeah, space. I mean, I think this is corrected enough to where really, like, if this test flight is super successful, it's pretty likely that the stock will appreciate in value just because it's gotten so smoked. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, considering it IPO'd, where did IPO? IPO'd at like $13. I mean, it's still significantly up from $13. Obviously, significantly down from its high around $60. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this, but I do think that a positive fundamental event will lead to more upside, considering it's just gotten toasted over the past couple months. Zekin calls. No, I mean, I believe you cannot trade Zekin calls on Robinhood. Yeah, you can. EOS or Link, I'd go with Link. EOS looks good too, just because EOS also is on the kind of lower end of its channel right now, but Link just looks strong. Doge at 8 cents. You're stoked. Still riding. I mean, at this point, it's kind of a free ride. Because I would say like 8 cents is at the lower. Nah, actually, I don't know. Look, I think Doge can get pretty freaking low once people realize that those diamond hands aren't so diamondy. Yeah. Test flight in May. BTC and alts. Bitcoin need to be 80K for ride to go to 100. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. But if Bitcoin does reach 80K, I think ride will hit 100. So that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens over the course of this weekend. Right now things are looking good. Bitcoin, I'm extremely confident in the fact that Bitcoin will at least come up to about 60K. But ultimately, I do think that we're going to test previous support. This is a very strong line of support. So this sign trend line takes us up to, like, if we hit this over the coming days, if Bitcoin does come up to 60, takes a little bit to trail up to 63, which would actually, like, perfectly, I guess, technically from the high of this inverse head and shoulders, like the base of this shoulder, 63K, which would test this trend line as well exactly on like May 4th, would, I guess, completely resolve this inverse head and shoulder. So if we do break that, if we break back above this support, which is actually kind of more what I'm looking at as opposed to this head and shoulders, it would just play out really well if it played out by early next week. If we do break this support, I do think that actually a double top is unlikely in terms of like Bitcoin's previous all-time high at about 65K. So if we do break back into this, then that'd make me pretty bullish. So pretty much we need to break, let's call it 63K over the next week or so. So hope for that. But I mean, crypto's looking good right now. Riot Mara probably gonna, assuming Bitcoin does have a good weekend, Riot Mara obviously gonna do extremely well as well. And I think Riot looks sick right now. Like I think Riot's a pretty easy read up to at least like at the very least $53.50, $54, like by next week. So yeah, sick. I think we will call it. Maybe. Overstock looks good. Yeah, just we'll see about calls. I want to see if Overstock, because it's ripped the past 2 days. Or actually, I guess it ripped. Overstock looks good. It ripped, setting a higher high, higher lows in that ascending channel. Will I pick up calls? We'll see. Oh yeah, we'll have to see what happens on Monday. I mean, I didn't pick up calls today, so I don't know. I'm kind of just focused on those Riot calls just because Riot's I think Riot right now is a safer read than Overstock. But I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to Overstock calls. If any of you guys are eyeballing Overstock calls, I would say they're definitely worth considering. Yeah, we'll see if I pick anything up. Overstock, definitely. I'm very, very happy I picked up a stock position though today. So that's good. Let's see if Overstock rips again. I wonder why that. I don't even know why that. Just OSTK news real quick. She's higher after. Oh, okay. They just did their earnings. Yeah, definitely earnings. Okay, so that makes sense. Swinging to big profit beat. Revenue nearly done. That's crazy that Overstock's doing so well. But I mean, again, even after like Overstock's done surprisingly well as like their actual, like Overstock as an actual company has been doing very well over the course of COVID because everyone's buying like home appliances and stuff. So it makes sense. And then again, they do have that kind of the tailwind from crypto too, because they're Medici Ventures, which is their crypto arm, has like T0, which is their trading app. And I think they're making some way there too. So it would be sick. Overstock at just a $3.5 billion valuation. I mean, still small. So it's definitely potential here on TradingView. Just scroll down, really look at this, but they have a strong buy rating on TradingView, which again, I don't always put a whole lot of weight on that, but I mean, when I see it, that's kind of that cherry on top in terms of whether I'm deciding on whether or not, maybe I will pick up some calls. We'll see what happens on Monday. Hopefully they dip a little bit on Monday. So I'll pick up some calls. If not, maybe I'll pick up a few calls anyway, but we shall see. So yeah, Overstock looks like it wants to hit triple digits again. I would say Overstock's has a pretty easy ride over the next couple of weeks to $100. Overstock played Overstock kind of a lot in the maybe not even as we were closing out like 2020. I think we were playing Overstock a little bit, but it's been a while. So I'm stoked to see it. Love to see it. Royce, Riot Call is more expensive than Mara. Yeah, I think Riot Calls do have a slightly higher premium than Mara, but it's because Riot. I mean, aside from today, Riot tends to move a lot easier than Mara, just considering Riot market cap 3.5. I guess Riot Mara pretty much almost have the exact same market cap at this moment. But yeah, Riot on the charts undoubtedly looks better than Mara right now. But Mara could still come up too. Don't. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I wouldn't touch XNet calls right now. Even Zekin, which at this point I'm way more bullish on than XNet, is like not really. Like today, it's surprising that Zekin didn't do well, to be honest. What did was XNet? I honestly don't even watch XNet anymore. Yeah, right. Mara makes sense. Bitcoin's popping off. Bitcoin miner's gonna do well. Where the heck is XNet? Did I just erase XNet from my watch list? Oh no, it's right there. I mean, XNet is just like the most boring stock ever.
Yeah, it's like I liked XNet, but it's like, where's your edge right now? Because like
they're not. Yeah,
like I look at like any of these Chinese stocks, and ever since Archegos, ever since most of the things that have been going on, just the liquidity is not flowing there. And if the liquidity and the money is not there, then you're not going to be making.
Yeah, there's just no volume at all on this stock. It like again a couple months back, it looked pretty promising from a technical perspective, but again, XNet has always struggled. Like, cool company, their marketing is trash, which is super crucial, as we all know, in 2021. So, yeah, it's just this is a really boring stock. I mean, a stock position might not, like a very small stock position, which is what I have. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but calls. When you buy calls, you're playing volatility. You're not really playing. I mean, you can play direction, but if you want to play calls, you're primarily playing sharp movements. And XNet's for sure not looking like it wants to do make a sharp movement in it. I mean, closing the day at 0.19% down, like that is so boring. That's crazy. That's so whack. Yeah, that's definitely not call material. Again, if you want to kind of preserve, I think XNet from a very, very long-term investment perspective, you're looking at more upside. Like a year from now, I would bet that XNet is probably higher than it is right now. But I mean, definitely not call material.
Yeah, if you just even compare it to the previous volume in March, it's even January, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's almost incomparable. Like, super impressive volume at the beginning of the year, but it's just completely tapered off. Mm-hmm. So it will be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see once because I think I am going to do this Zekin brand deal, and Zekin actually does look kind of. I do think Zekin looks good on the charts right now. It's going to be interesting to see if this, if again this kind of promotional stuff they do does make an impact, because Zekin's market cap is at 130 mil, which is pretty small, honestly. So it's going to be interesting to see if that does make a significant impact. But again, I'm pretty sure those are the two catalysts in the past. The last time they did that promotional kind of run. So it's going to be interesting to see if that happens again. Because again, the technicals do look good. So that'll be fun. But as kind of, again, those Chinese, there's a whole lot of other factors like the Chinese stocks, again, since Archegos kind of imploded. It's going to be interesting to see if that does have somewhat of a longer term effect on Chinese equities.
Even Neo's kind of just consolidating. I mean, EVs aren't acting too well, but even Neo just consolidation right now. I know it's
Neo. I'd imagine Neo kind of stays. I don't think Neo's gonna really again, but I do think it's kind of gonna bounce around in this super long term ascending channel that it's been in, like all the way since back in July of 2020. Honestly, like it's now following the channel that it's been in since July, discounting all of that crazy parabolic price action that occurred from I'm looking at it now from like October to March. Like, just discount all of that, it's still in like the same channel as it's been in over the course of almost a year now, which is crazy. But I think it's probably going to bounce around there because now people I think we're still going to grow. I think growth is definitely slowing down now though, and investors are getting a little more rational. So
yeah, the cycle for EVs just exploded, and
EVs went off, and we're definitely consolidating, slowing down a little bit. But I mean, again, considering Neo still a year ago was at like $6, so we've still like like 6-7x since then is like Dio's still doing good when you're comparing it to a year ago. Still up hundreds and hundreds of percentage points.
And it also taught me that the best time to use a Fibonacci fan is when the stock's in a bubble. I mean, it's always a great time to use
Fibonacci. Fibs, that's pretty much what fibs were made for, is just completely complete emotion and hype markets and stuff. So fibs do actually fibs do work pretty well. I mean, that's the best gauge you have, because other than that, you're pretty much just you're like eyeballing it. So yeah, during parabolic rallies, fibs definitely come in handy. All right, guys, call it out there. Thoughts on Nikola not touching it? Not Doge or NKLA. Good old Nikola. Yeah, you guys keep an eye on that. It's gonna be interesting. Keep an eye on that Tesla. I'm definitely, regardless, I'm not watching Doge. Actually, you know what? I'll watch Doge just for the culture, just see if, or speculation. Yeah, watching Doge, but definitely keeping an eye on that Elon Musk SNL performance. That dude is such a, I mean, he's so impressively awkward. Like, he's so good at tweeting, but his, like, when he actually speaks, it's so almost uncomfortable to watch. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he performs on SNL. But I'll probably just end up watching it on YouTube. They'll probably upload it like immediately. But I mean, ABC. I don't even know who airs SNL, to be honest. But yeah, I'll probably just watch clips on YouTube. Throw them in the announcements once they come up. All right, guys, my boys, appreciate you boys as always, and yeah, catch you guys. Definitely catch you guys in here tomorrow. See what good old BTC is doing. Hey, maybe by the end of the day it pops. If it does, I'll hop in general. But if not, I'll catch you guys tomorrow and chop it up.
Have a good weekend, Royce.
All right, boys. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Peace. Later.
Everyone else too.